Good afternoon, this is KOCO Chief Meteorologist Damon Lane. Here is your November 14th noon weather briefing. Looking at low temperatures across Oklahoma, it was a chilly start to today. Not as cold as yesterday, but certainly was chilly. 34, 35 degrees around Oklahoma County. That was a morning low temperature. Now, some of the coldest there is actually as you make way in the eastern and southeastern Oklahoma, where temperatures were down the 20s. This is where we had a little bit more of a clear sky overnight, and that allowed the temperatures to drop. We had some clouds moving in overnight. The winds were picking up, and that allowed temperatures to not drop nearly as cold. Right around Stillwater, 34 degrees. We saw temperatures in around Tulsa, 31 to 34 degrees. Today is Thursday, which means that we get an update with the U.S. drought monitor, and really from the Central Plains out to the West Coast, that's where we're seeing the most significant drought impacts. When you look at red and brown on this map, that would be the two worst drought categories that you can have. We're certainly seeing that in Texas, Oklahoma, Nevada, California, and even in parts of Colorado. As we inspect Oklahoma a little bit more carefully here, we had some improvement in the drought from last week to this week. We did have a small drop in the percentage of areas being impacted by the drought. D0 to D4, so basically from abnormally dry conditions to exceptional drought. We went from 52.15% of the state last week being impacted by these drought conditions to this week down to 49.76. However, even looking at, we saw another improvement here. You can see from D1 to D4, but we did not see an improvement from D2 to D4. From severe drought to exceptional drought, we actually saw an increase in this drought category from just last week to this week. And of course, if you look down in southwestern Oklahoma, we see this exceptional drought here, and this is going to be continuing for a while, I'm afraid to say. This is a pretty significant drought, and now we're beginning to see long-term impacts. So we really need to see the rain down in southwestern Oklahoma. Looking at the mid-level flow right now across the United States, watching a few areas of, I guess you could call it unsettled weather. It looks like we have one that right now is just moving in towards New Mexico, another one that's up in the Pacific Northwest. And we are seeing, at least with this little wave that's coming in across New Mexico, some clouds that are being generated off of it. You can see the cloud cover moving in across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska. Now, looking at a couple shots here, just happened to grab from Telluride, Colorado. This looks like a postcard. Beautiful picture. Blue sky, a few clouds, but everything is looking fine. As we look in towards western Kansas right now, looks like some smooth driving conditions there. A few clouds in the sky. As you enter into Wyoming out of Idaho, or as you're leaving, Wyoming into Idaho, it looks like things are looking just fine there. Jackson Hole, Wyoming, some snow, a few clouds, and then as we look in Aspen right now, not a whole lot of snow cover right now down on the valley floor, but all that will change in the next couple of days as we watch that little disturbance that we have right now up in the Pacific Northwest. That will begin to move across the Rocky Mountains, and that's going to help generate some decent snowfall. You can see we're talking about the potential for 1 to 2 feet of snow from Telluride to Aspen, Vail up to Steamboat, Park City. Looks like we're going to get some nice amount of snowfall as well in Utah, Grand Teton to Wyoming. As we look in towards around western Wyoming, things are looking just fine. Glacier National Park, things are looking fine. We're going to get some more snowfall as well. And then as you look into Idaho as well. So all of this pink shading that you see here on the map, this is going to be areas that have the potential to pick up anywhere between a foot to almost 2 feet of snow. And again, ski resorts will be loving that, as many will be opening as we get closer to Thanksgiving. Now, we're not going to see any snow here across the southern plains for a little while. It's still going to be all liquid. As we look at projected radar for this evening, we are going to have some showers down in southeastern Oklahoma and right around Tulsa. As we go into Saturday morning, 6 a.m., more showers are possible as we go into Lawton and up into northeastern Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. Temperatures going to be quite warm this weekend, running above normal. You can see here anywhere between 10 to 15 degrees above normal. So 70s are likely for the southern plains, and you can see all of the really areas in North America that are going to be dealing with above normal temperatures. So we basically are splitting the continent here in half. Above normal temperatures to the east, below normal temperatures to the west. We keep the warmth in here as we go into Sunday. Sunday afternoon, temperatures running about 10 to 15 degrees above normal. We see some cooler air beginning to move in across the United States, and then as we go into early next week, temperatures will begin to fall below normal. We'll talk about just how cold we are going to be getting coming up tonight on the news at 5, 6, and 10. See you then.